Welcome back to SwitchCorner. It's time for our weekly look at what's coming up this week on the Nintendo Switch. As always, we don't cover everything here, but these are like my choice picks, the ones that catch my eye, and I skip out the shovelware. If I do miss anything though that I should be looking at, let me know in the comments below. For me though, I gotta say, it's looking like a decent week, especially for those of you that like your free-to-plays. So as always then, I'll be giving you an idea if these are day one buys for me, or of course, waiting on reviews. With that then, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here, join our growing family, and let's get started. First up then today, we've got Alwa's Legacy, and I'd honestly never heard of this game, but it turns out it's the second in the Alwa series. The first, it hit the Switch back in 2018, mostly I gotta say from what I can see, 2 positive reviews. From the eShop breakdown and footage I've watched, it seems no prior knowledge will be needed here to jump in. They make basically zero mention of the first game on the eShop, so I imagine these can be seen as like standalone tales where maybe if you played the first game, you might get the tiny reference here and there. This one though, where the first one was 8-bit, this looks to be more of a 16-bit focus with the visuals and some real nice pixel work. Here though, we have what appears to be a 2D platformer with RPG elements. It's almost giving me like a, Zelda 2 vibe. It's got a non-linear experiences, items to collect, and then a way to customize our hero, who I imagine is called Alwa, with this upgrade system and collectibles. I really like the look of this one, but I will be myself waiting on reviews first before I pull the credit card out. So projection first light now, and this one I really like the look of. I think it's easy to make the comparison to the likes of Limbo and Inside, but this is for sure unique in the idea you are in this mythological world of shadow puppets, and the manipulation of light will very much be your key to taking on this challenge. Not really sure what I'm expecting going into this one, but there will be a review over the next couple of days on the channel. I think for me, what's basically drawing me in is its take on different locations and cultures, with it promising to visit Indonesia, China, Turkey, Greece, and then even 19th century England. I have high hopes for this one. Normally I'd probably lean towards day one, but here you can actually expect a review pre-release. So I gotta say, Bacon Man and Adventure looks interesting to say the least, but it's more curiosity than anything with this one getting my attention, just because it's such an unusual idea. The aim here, it seems to be going for a tough as nails platformer experience, but for that to work it needs near perfect controls to back that up. I'm all for tough as nails, but I need to feel like every time I failed it was my fault and not a flaw of the game. Offering though 25 levels, 4 different characters and 2-player co-op, this could be great, but I'm for sure waiting on reviews with this one. Looking at the eShop though, what has me most curious, the graphics, look at them. I mean, they're not perfect and they look a little pixelated if anything in the screenshots. It's only 25 levels too, yet it's a 3.3 gig in-store file size. Either there's a whole lot in here that they're not telling us about, or it's just simply poorly optimized, because that's bigger than a Super Mario Deluxe and bigger than Super Mario Maker 2. So I'm curious to see just what is it exactly they're bringing to the table. I know one thing though, I will not be paying day one without the reviews to back up that decision. So you want something free, because who doesn't like free? Well, closing out the month on the 30th, we actually get Rogue Company. This has been pay to play for probably the last couple of months now or so. I reviewed it over on the channel, but now you can take a swing at it, and all it costs is a bit of bandwidth from your internet provider. With a ton of characters to work towards unlocking though, I think third-person shooter fans should find a decent chunk to like, as it pits you in these 4 versus 4 matchups, and there's a few different game modes too as well. Think like Team Deathmatch and King of the Hill. I was mostly impressed though, as I say, that full review is live over on the channel where I go really in depth, but yeah, just expect things like tons of weapons, tons of gadgets, and all sorts of different things to play with. So I'd say just give this one a shot, see if it's for you, and uninstall it if not. So one of the bigger games of the week then for me is Origins. This one has been elsewhere since 2006 in Japan, and then it received a Western translation in 2012, and it's still one I haven't managed to check out, so now is the time. If you played the more recent Ys on the Switch, this is going to be a little bit different to what you are used to. It's going for that old school isometric viewpoint because, well, it is old. Here though, a devastating demonic attack causes 2 goddesses to lift ease into the sky. When you think you're safe, they disappear and the demons are now building a tower to reach you. Now you must head out and basically find these goddesses and save the day. With 3 playable characters, 4 game modes including surprisingly time attack and speedrun mode, not something you see too often in the RPG genre, and then a whole lot of like collectibles, you'll for sure get decent value for your cash here. Just be warned though, this isn't your typical like epic in length RPG, with the average runtime falling around that 12-hour mark. I'll be going day 1 though. Personally, this was an easy decision for sure. Free to play again now, and no doubt the biggest game of the week, but Super Mario Bros 35, no doubt following the success of like Tetris 99, this is the next Nintendo take on Battle Royale. Sounds amazing. Basically get online and race against time, defeat enemies and sabotage your opponents as you and 34 others face it off in a level to basically be the last man standing. I really have though no idea how this will work, how the levels will work, or even how I like, sabotage someone else or even win, but I will for sure have a video come release day, and it's an easy day 1 for me. Hotshot Burn now, and this I've actually seen a couple of hours of gameplay and I'm not 100% sold. The gameplay looks decent. It's basically like 4-player local or online arena shoot 'em up, which is great and super quick fire with its rounds. There's a whole lot of like neon too, which is always a positive on this channel. That said though, it is restricted according to the eShop to 2 to 4 players. So from what I know, and from previous releases at least, there is 0 single player content, and that is a concern when it doesn't advertise crossplay, and the Switch's online community for the most part is, well, lacking to say the least. It looked good, its synthwave soundtrack sounded good. I'm just not sure the Switch is going to be the best time for it. This isn't even a case of needing to see reviews first, but more seeing a week after release what the word is around finding games online. For me, this is really only worth a look right now if you have 4 friends willing to jump in with you and buy it, or you have an option to play local. So a quick mention now, Retro Classics Collection #1 Data East, bringing together 8 games. Not a bad price honestly, but wait on this one. You can buy most of these games individually, on sale regularly as well, and they go for like maybe $1 or $2. This is one of those bundles I suspect has been created just to like be heavily discounted in the future. Save your cash here or just pick and choose the individual ones you want from the eShop. There's really no reason to go for the 8-pack. So honestly, before putting all of this together, I'd never heard of Orangeblood, and I'm leaning towards day 1 honestly. Some of the eShop description does put me off a little bit as it's playing into a mature rating, but if it can land the humour just right, it could absolutely work. Telling the story though of 4 girls, it seems they are on some sort of like adventure in Nukosa, and I can't really work much else out honestly. It's rare I see such a long description on the eShop that gives me so little information. What I do like though, the visuals, the locations, they just look great, and it's promising turn-based gunfighting, which for me, honestly, anything turn-based is a good thing. We will see come release date how this one fares. It's been released elsewhere already, but honestly, even then, very little information and a lack of reviews. Consider me curious though, I think that's the best way to put it, and that might just be enough to get the credit card out. I may even try and get a review live on the channel. So Warsaw now, and I really like the look of this one, but it's released elsewhere already to like 6 and 7s out of 10, which, it's not bad, but it's also not amazing. I can't help though and look at the screenshots and see a take on almost like Darkest Dungeon. Then the setting as well, 1944, the historical like World War II event of the Warsaw Uprising. I am a sucker for anything set during a World War period. I love the visual style, and it seems to be combining elements of like turn-based combat, strategic map movement, and then inventory and base management. Looking forward to this one. Sometimes a 6 or 7 out of 10 can be enough to give you an experience you enjoy, but also you gotta think about what like other experiences like we have on that particular console. I'm hoping here to have a day 1 review of this one if I can get a hold of the devs behind it, but honestly I'd probably go day 1 if that wasn't the case, just because there's a few pieces that are more than appealing to me. So this is a first, and it's going to be quick. Let's Sing Queen. I mean, these games for me all suck, and I don't do karaoke, but if I was going to do karaoke, Queen would for sure be my go-to. If you like to sing and you like Queen, then shit, I mean, this is your game. It's overpriced if you ask me, and you can pick it up elsewhere for a lot cheaper for sure, but maybe you don't have the option to play it on like the PS4 or something else. So if that's the case, here you go. Honestly, I'd probably pay $40 just to listen to Bohemian Rhapsody on repeat, and the official videos they're running in the background, that is a nice touch. Closing out the week for me then, 2 games from Dystopia Interactive. It looks like they've been out on like PC and stuff for a few years now to somewhat decent reviews, but first we get 103. I'm expecting a walking simulator adventure style with this one and a whole lot of like atmosphere. I love the visual style though that I'm seeing, and you're out to help a character by the name of Lily. You're making her use her imagination to unlock the memories of a night and an event that took place that changed her life. Then they're also releasing Make a Killing, which has a beautiful black and white art style and seems more action-packed with shotgun in the hand, and it's a first-person anxiety-inducing survival horror game. It seems here you're basically on the run from a mass murderer in a game of cat and mouse. I like the look of them actually, but I'm seeing comments saying they're not like the longest of experiences. In fact, they're saying they're super short, so these are again a wait on review for me. And that's it, another week down, and I actually think it's shaping up pretty decently thanks to a couple of strong free-to-plays. Definitely a lot of obscure stuff this week, but you know what? There's a couple I'm still excited to check out, especially for me like Mario 35 and then Ys Origins. The big question though, will you be adding anything to your collection? As always then, look, a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. In fact, we actually had 3 new patrons join us this week, which is incredible. If you do want to check that out for yourself though, the link is in the description down below. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.